Okay, welcome back. You're watching another episode here of Answering Random Questions. That's not an official title here. I've not decided the title yet. I'm just making these videos this morning. But that's what it is, me answering random questions, okay? Well, whatever the title is, it is. Yeah, so I've got random questions on my screen. I'm making a couple more videos this morning on this. The next question, okay, where are we at? Philosophical life questions about philosophical questions about human nature and the human condition. The next question I'm going to answer here is, where is the line between art and not art? Where is the line between art and not art? Where's the line between? It's like, okay, what's the difference between them? How are they different? Why are they different? Well, it's the same as anything. You know, it's a human position. It's a human. Sure, I'll tell you when it is. Ignorance. Ignorance sometimes, when someone's ignorant and they say, well, that's not art. When you see somebody else being creative. I guess a simple way to answer this, another way to answer this question is, when it's not. It's all my opinions. Like, I'm just answering honestly from my ideas and opinions. When it's like, when it's not being deliberately done from imagination, from willed action and creation from the imagination to deliberately make something. That's when it's not art. That's one way of saying it's not art. You look at something and you say, look at the art, look at that art. Someone did that. And maybe they did it by accident, maybe they didn't intend to do that. But people look at it and they say, wow, that's a work of art. That's a work. What they're trying to really say is, that is amazing to my senses, to my visual or hearing. I see this thing as amazing, and it represents something to me. That's why I feel it's amazing. It looks like an image of horses running through the clouds or something. It looks like something, and it's just all it was is footprints in the sand or something. And they're like, wow, it looks like this. Or it carries meaning too in my life because, so it's even more amazing now. So there's a bit of illusion in there too in some people's a way to see it. But it's the way people see things, and they're seeing this thing for what it is. And then they're saying it's art as though there was an art as in a skill behind it to do that with intention. But if the person didn't do anything intentionally, I don't see how that's art. You see what I'm trying to say? It wasn't intentional. Because I could fall dead. I could faint down, I could faint on the floor and hit my head on something and blood would splatter. Sorry to be gruesome, they're morbid. And you could see a blood splatter in the shape of a hand. Give me 5. You know what I mean? And so that was amazing. Was that art, Or I could fall through that glass window there and leave the shape of a silhouetted human figure, And you may say, that was art, man. Because look at it, it looks like a perfect human figure. But no, it wasn't intentional, was it, So the point is, the thing is, if it's intentional, it's art. Art can mean skill, that's one thing. And art can also mean a thing. If the wind blows leaves around in a certain way, or if the wind blows the sand around, and in the end you see some kind of amazing shape on the ground or on the beach, and it looks like a battleship, or it looks like some kind of, skull and crossbones flag or whatever, and you say, wow, that's art. Nature created art. Well, nature's always created art. Okay, you could say that. Is it? No, art is a human concept. Really, nothing's happening. What is art to you? What do you like in what you see? As well as another thing, you may see some people may see a canvas with all kinds of coloured paint splattered everywhere, and the colours somehow, I don't want to say they're tripping crazy, but some people will like may have tears running down their eyes because the emotion it brings. It may be connected to some kind of memory or something in their mind also. So illusion, distraction again. But it's something there, or they look at it, or they just look at it and they feel hypnotized. They just like the look of that. They like what they see, and they call it art. They like what they hear, and they call you like a star, an amazing singer, or whatever, or the birds are whistling beautiful tunes today, and to other people it sounds like noise. You know what I mean? It's what you see. The human being's a complex organism with a mind, thinking, and what they see, and we interpret things a certain way. The art is what we see. The art, but then you could say, okay, then what about if the art is in the self before, to the connection with what's outside also, like you connecting to something that was created by another human being? What does that mean? It wasn't created by you, but it was another human being. It was done intentionally. So even animals could create an art if it was done not within. See, an animal could create something. An animal could create a bird's nest, let's say a bird's nest, or beavers can create a dam. It serves a function also as well, and they're quite smart in what they're doing. It's intentional in what they've made, and it's made a certain way, and they obviously looked and made it a certain way with a certain kind of structure. And you look at it and you say, look at the art, that's art. Now to us, we say, yes, it's art. We can appreciate things, the creation, seeing the purpose of it too. But also it may look nice to us. It's the difference between looking nice and then liking it, or what we see for its practicality too. But the actual thing is, the animals themselves are creating things with a different intention in mind. They may not be creating it because they like what they see, or to make some kind of message out there. They're just doing it for the practical thing. But you're going back to what I was saying though. If you're saying that, okay then, so art is what we recognize on the inside, what we see from the inside recognition of what we see on the outside, of a purposely, deliberately created piece, for that purpose too, to show or to convey a message visually pleasing to the human being, to the eyes or the ears. Okay. Then with some skill behind it, and when you say what skill, what's not, the levels of skill, it depends on the practice of what someone's done. But everybody's got levels of skill in what they're doing, especially if it's deliberately made from the mind into the physical. But if you say, okay, if we go back to the thing and we say, okay, then the mind, okay, the art is on the inside of the human being, then why is it that we can feel that if it's somebody else doing it, it's not inside us? How can we say as an individual what art is when, I'm trying to say, well, it's only because we know. So we have it in us, so we know from other human beings. That's the only way, and it does make sense. Some questions are just silly to ask, but in some way. But no questions are wrong, but Okay, so art and not art. Okay, so basically, art, I believe though, is when you are intentionally, deliberately trying to create something, and it's not anything to do with. We're not talking about the skill. We're not talking about the skill or the methods used to create it even, although there is an art in that, which is actually the skills, the abilities. But the art as in the thing. But we're not only talking about that, and we're also not only talking about the practicality of what the use of this thing is going to be. But art is like a thing you're putting out, a message which stimulates the human mind. With the emotions that we've got, that's where we are more sophisticated than animals. We've got these emotions and sophisticated mind. We are able to see our world and how we experience the human, not the human condition, the human experience, I'd call it. Someone can paint a picture of like a rainy roads at night time, and with all kinds of things like like some romantic looking picture of a cityscape, and you would feel connection with that because human beings have created cities and things like this, and we've seen that, and we may remember standing in the rain with the one we loved or something like that, our emotion, you see. But it could be very much the same with another thing. You could be standing on a beach, or standing somewhere admiring the snow on the mountains or whatever it might be, or the moon in the sky. These are also, but the human being experiences and have these kind of emotions and how we connect with each other and meaning and how we interpret things and then come up with these meanings that we then interpret as real. We are living a life full of illusion. It's the beautiful, constant thinking and alive and imagination, and that's the only way we can be alive, I think, with the imagination. So art is life, and we're constantly thinking, which is a deliberate process also, and so we all have some level of artisticness in us to create. And the difference between art and not art, I'd say, is laziness or like ignorance of life. It's like almost to be dead almost, if you want to say, coming from your own point of view, to actually create and do. Art is creation. I'll put it another way. Art is creation, deliberate creation from the imagination, interpreting from the world, seeing and reproducing visions of our thoughts that we've connected in some way to this experience, which we think is on the outside. It's actually coming from the inside. It's in us. It's part of living. Art is part of life. Or if you say in everything, then so mind and body. So art is everything. Right? The opposite would be death. There's an art to life, so to speak. Not like a way to live your life, but there's an art. We are the art. It's like everything we can talk about. We are it, But if it's not done deliberately, no, that's the thing. You can't really say it's art in terms of like art. You wouldn't say it's art because we're talking about this actual topic though. Art is like the actual deliberate creation to do a specific thing with carrying a specific message or something like that. It's not to say you're thinking about cooking the food up, and all of a sudden you drop the eggs on the floor and it splats and it looks like the royal family's faces or something. I don't mean, that's not art. That's an accident, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Right. And you just had like a low level of skill art in your cooking. Right? To say something happened beyond your control and say that's art, but you did that so well. It doesn't make any sense, does it, right? And you created that. But no, he didn't, he didn't create that, so to speak, as if through intention to create that. Thank you for watching. I'm going to answer the next question now because we're moving on, okay? Listen to this one. The next question, okay? If someone you loved was killed in front of you, but someone created a copy of them that was perfect, right down to the atomic level, would they be the same person, and would you love them just as much? Wow, it's a very long question. Let me read it again. If someone you loved was killed in front of you, but someone created a copy of them that was perfect right down to the atomic level, would they be the same person, and would you love them just as much? Two questions in one, kind of thing. It's a mind thing, this one. So people are different. So firstly, would they be the same person? No, they wouldn't be the same person. They wouldn't be the same person. They would not be the same person. They'd be a copy. A copy is a copy. It doesn't matter on an atomic level or what level. It's perfectly copied resemblance. And the only thing you'd be doing is lying to yourself. For the second part of the question, okay, would you love them just as much? You'd be lying to yourself, but you'd always have it in the back of your mind that it wasn't the same one. You know what I mean? And it's a mind thing. It's a special human condition, like the emotional thing. I think it's like if someone gave you if you had something very meaningful, an object, let's say, and something that somebody gave you, let's say, before they passed away, something meaningful, and then you lost it, or something happened, and somebody gave you a new one to replace it. It can never replace it because it's the meaning. In life, it's not about the object, and it's not about the person even. Hear me out, okay? It's not about the outside world, the experiences on the inside. We love certain people. We love our families. I love my wife, things like that. but the experience is on the inside. These people do exist, and these things do exist, and this world does exist. In fact, they exist so much that we actually can interpret that and enjoy that, and we're here with that as one thing, you know. But the truth is, the only reason we experience all of this stuff and feel emotion and all that is because it's on the inside. It's what we feel and what we're thinking. So it's a kind of cold life when you say your whole life's an illusion. It's real, you know, and it's here, but you're here, and that's how it's always going to be. It's always like you're just in your mind, and you're experiencing this stuff. But you're actually interacting with real people, obviously, of course. But this thing would, if this was to happen, hopefully it never would. But this kind of thing would be just in your mind, niggling in your mind, you know, and probably and. If you forgot it over time, that's just because your mind changes and you just think about different things, you know. So that's an interesting question there. Yeah, it's my simple answer on that one. Okay, I'm going to do another video and then we're going to finish on this today. We've got 4 videos today on this, so this is pretty good doing this, answering the questions. Thank you very much for watching. I'd love to see your answers if you'd like to type some comments. Thanks for watching.